we are, darlings. Alex and Ulli on relationship, and from our personal experience, I have to say. And one of the topics that we want to talk about is sexuality, and more or less the lack of, not even sexuality as in whatever, hopping into bed with each other, but also that sense where love goes missing in a physical way between partners. So we talked about a little bit, as in the thrill is gone, like what ignites you about your partner. So Uli, what ignites you, or what do you think, what happens? What do you observe?
Okay, After the Thrill Is Gone, famous song from the Eagles. Still have it in my head now. After the thrill is gone, what comes to my mind? The thrill is not gone. For me, the thrill is not gone. Every time I see you, I'm kind of thrilled, and that's for me. It's very surprising because I never had this experience before.
Hmm.
I had 3, 4 long-time relationships, and the usual thing happened in every relationship. So the thrill was gone after a very short time.
Hmm.
And I was looking for the thrill. To be honest, I was also looking for the thrill outside my relationship. And that always marked more or less the end of the relationship for me.
Hmm.
That were my experience up to now. And with you, I made a completely different experience, which I mm, couldn't believe, or still can't believe myself, because I always thought that this is the normal course of things, that this sexual, erotic tension and adventure is gone after some 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
Hmm.
And I read a lot about it. I watched lots of shows about it, and listened to psychologues, and they all say this thing, that it's gone after a very short time. And for me, it didn't happen. For me, it just continued. I don't know how it comes. Sometimes I feel like I'm being a little bit unnatural here, but that is a story for me.
Yeah, and I think then the other story from the female side, as much as between us, as I can see that between people who have long-standing relationships and other, householder commitments, children, dogs, pets, works, survival in this world, is that on the female side, we are running into the menopausal thing, which kind of deprives us of a certain flood of hormones that make us engage in this kind of intimacy. So Ulli and I, we've been on this journey of seeing, how can we both deal with when the man's desire doesn't die and the woman's desire dies more naturally through what's going on in her body. Um, and yeah, and that's what we want to talk a little bit about today, right? So my observation for myself, so I can share from the female side, is that to me that doesn't have to do anything with falling out of love with you. I find you as attractive as I always did when I saw you, and it's just a moment of struggling with kind of finding myself in the here and now. And in the here and now, to be with that moment with you and seeing if there is time to allow myself to drop deeper with you into this partnership and into this exchange. But then the head comes in, I start listing chores, because with the menopause, I find that I'm lacking gaps of concentration. So I'm trying to hold on to concentration and I'm afraid to lose it. And in this fear, I'm also losing touch with myself, but I'm also losing, of course, the touch with you, kind of coming closer to you. And you might be worried about your own job, or you start to kind of schedule your things, and then it seems like a complete mismatch at times. Where is that sweet spot in time where we can land, and without making it a date, so to speak, like that would be so arbitrary to me, to have a date for sexual encounters or whatever you want to call it, even. And I'm not talking about the cuddling on the couch either, dear listener. That's not about that, and it's not about like giving a kisses here and there. It's more about the taking time for, giving desire and pleasure to somebody else, not giving desire, but giving pleasure because the other person desires to be touched.
Okay, you said to make a date for romance,
Mm.
and that's what, funnily, many couple therapists really recommend.
Mm.
For me, it's also like I find it, I don't know the word you used, arbitrary, or
Mm-hmm.
for me, it's also kind of very strange to make a date. On the other hand, that's what exactly what you do when you are newly engaged. You make a date.
Oh,
Né?
yeah,
You meet and make a date,
yeah.
and that's very exciting. But so in the normal partnership, in the long time partnership, you don't make it anymore. Although we also tend to make a date night now.
Mm-hmm.
We go out and once a week or something and go outside to enjoy. And so it could be something to be experimented with. I never did it because I also have this feeling, no, why should I make a date there? But now, as we talk about it, it seems to make sense. But the most important thing for me is that I think I'm a quite forgetful person. I always was.
Mm.
I don't remember things very well that were in the past and left in. So that makes it for me very easy to live in the moment
Mm.
and totally in the moment and to be for me you are fresh and new every day. I forgot how you were yesterday. I just forgot it. And so I say, wow, who is this?
Yeah, and that doesn't help though, Oli. I don't think that helps anybody who is struggling to move into, intimacy in the relationship again. Like you talk about your natural stemming desire. And, a lot of us probably see this kind of desire in self-value or, like, am I beautiful? Am I lovable? Am I all this? And when sexuality does or intimacy in the relationship doesn't happen, you're a little bit afraid, and you go into the pockets where you feel valued and where you feel loved. Like in work, you can measure your successes. Your kids hug you, your dogs love you, like your cats purr around you. But what is it when that is gone? Like, I mean, when that is not why you are with somebody, because then the question is why am I with that person? And you start looking at all these things that annoy you, because everybody has a point of annoyance with their partner. So that's what I think I wanted to offer here in this conversation to people. What do you do? And what we noticed is that like the simple engaging, if you find it difficult to become intimate, and intimacy means to you, sexual penetration of your organs, so to speak, then it's kind of hard to jump from not feeling loved or not feeling seen by your partner to this act, or this act becomes like, okay, let's do this, and then that's over and ticked off again. That's what I started off with. So yeah, I think what we are more and more noticing, that's what I'm kind of trying to say, between and despite all the things, like despite your desire, despite my lack of desire due to what I find is a hormonal cause, is that it requires investment and commitment and time. And that's what you talked about earlier, that, yeah, you say you need to set a date. And I think it's more the commitment of allowing yourself to find the time again for each other, that nothing is more valuable than experience this human exchange. People are out there giving hugs on the street, it's like, to each other, because they're craving that intimacy with somebody else. We all kind of know it has to do with encountering ourselves through somebody else that brings us to life and into this duality thing.
Yeah, for me, you said it doesn't help that I'm seeing you new every day, but for me personally, that's exactly the point. Because as soon as the head comes in, the trigger, the erotic triggers are over for me. That's what I know. As soon as I start to think and as I start to worry or as I start to think about past, then it's over. And for me to be fresh every moment is is exactly the key for everything. I don't need special techniques or special dates. I think I just need to be free in my head, completely free in my head, and then it works. Otherwise, I cannot explain the difference in my relationships before and now, because I think I have become much more conscious and much more settled in myself.
I thought we all need to become more forgetful and Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
That you were
yeah.
offering. Okay,
So,
dearest, you
yeah.
all wait until you turn
Right.
60 something and
And you get Alzheimer and then you have wonderful sex. It's, wow, completely new person. Who are you? Very welcome. You're even in my bed. Wow, that's amazing. No, it's. I mean, this is. I think this is crucial to be perfectly in the moment and to get rid of the thoughts that you have and to get rid of expectations. That's what we experience also between us. If we have expectations how sexuality should be and what is essentially how when do you call it sex, what we our interchange, what we have. So if you bring these things in, then you get a burden in the back.
Yeah.
And this burden, it's not very funny, not very juicy.
And then we come back to the here and now and being present with each other, which is what we often don't do. We kind of come with the ideas or memories of, you remember that we were excited, and it has nothing to do with the current state. And then it's almost like the filter is over, is in that moment instead of being in the moment. I think that's what we're really kind of trying to talk about here, that what came over as forgetfulness now turns into awareness. You call it, like consciousness, and being conscious of being there here and now, so yeah. So we want to invite you, if you're interested on going to a retreat with your partner with us, and just do very simple things that kind of engage you back with yourself and engage you back with your partner, gives you time and space in a safe environment, and that will mean that you have your own rooms, and there is like what we're going to do in exercises is not very much about how to be with your partner on a very intimate skin to skin level, but on an intimate level that you've missed out in your day-to-days. So that's what we're trying to create for each other, that part where, with clothes on, so to speak, intimacy is rising between the two of you again. So yeah.
Right. To give space again for your love, and
Yeah.
which was there and which is never gone. It's just hidden, maybe sometimes between or under some prejudices and day-to-day life.
Yeah.
So let's awake it again.
DM us. We're here. We have something in the pocket, and for those who are interested, send us a personal message. See you soon for our next show. I hope you enjoyed this.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.